Hi, water signs. Thank you for joining me. I'm Triple Moon Mystic, and I'll be doing your 2020 forecast for divine partnerships in a challenge or separation situation. This is my first series of videos on YouTube, so thank you for joining me and helping me launch my personal mission this year to help others through tarot readings, and thank you so much for joining me. If you want to know more about me, I'll skip the boring introduction now, and you can read about me in my About section on my channel. So today I'm going to be using 3 decks, and I'm going to use a spread that Spirit showed to me during a meditation, and we're going to look at 2020 in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So we're going to lay it out in an X shape, with the center of the X being the overriding lessons that you'll learn for the year. So today I'm going to be using the Good Tarot for your main tarot deck, and for our bridging energies in between quarters, we're going to be using a new deck called the In Between Tarot, which I absolutely am in love with. And for our lessons learned, we're going to be using the Sufi Wisdom deck. So let's go ahead and get started. These decks are pre-shuffled, but I will go ahead and give it one more shuffle on camera, and we'll get started with the read. So for the first quarter of 2020, we're going to take 2 cards. Too many. We're going to take 2 cards and see what Spirit has for us. Okay, first card out is the King of Water, which would be the same as the King of Cups. Here, let me show it to you. This is our King of Water. I absolutely adore this deck, and it seemed so appropriate for water signs this month. Okay, and our next card, just pulling off the top of the deck, is the 9 of Earth. So what I'm getting here for the first quarter of 2020 is that your masculine is really going to be working on himself. This first quarter is really going to be highlighting his move and ascending into his own self-love, into his own abundance, and coming out of 2019, which was a year with a lot of strife and struggle for many masculine energies out there. And water signs, I use masculine and feminine as I refer to energies, not gender, so take it as it applies to you. So what I'm really getting here is that the masculine energy in this counterpart is really going to be working, Spirit is really going to be working on them to start to focus on themselves and come out of the extremely difficult year of 2019, where so many karmic cycles were dealt with, and some of those cycles have closed. I feel like by and large many of them have, but for a number of them they have only recently closed or are still closing out. So these masculines are going to really be working on their personal abundance and their getting their house in order, essentially. So for our second quarter of 2020, the focus in these partnerships, let's see, I usually like to shuffle, take the first card out, and then open the top. Okay, so we have the 7 of Air, which translates to the 7 of Swords. So this deck is so beautiful. It's a much softer look than the traditional tarot, where you see a very sneaky person, who's up to no good. The next card we get is the Ace of Air. So we have the beautiful Pegasus here flying through the air. So Ace of Swords, 7 of Swords. So the second quarter for you water signs is all about air, about swords. It's about thought. It's about making plans. And with this 7 of Swords, In the traditional tarot, that's an indication of someone who isn't being honest, who's wearing a mask, who hasn't been honest with themselves or with someone else, who's being sneaky, deceitful. And with this Ace of Swords here, what we're going to be dealing with in the second quarter of 2020 is, I feel like these masculines are going to be coming into their abundance and into an energy of finally taking off that mask. Finally being able to be honest with themselves, first and foremost, and to stop running from a connection. Because many of these masculines have been unwilling to face their own truth about you as their feminine, and they have been involved in karmic partnerships and karmic behaviors to essentially hide from the truth that they know deep in their soul. And, we're prompted in these partnerships, in these divine partnerships, to trigger each other so that we can go in and heal. And in order to do that, the masculine, in essence, goes away from his feminine, because really, when you look at the big picture, you don't want your masculine sorting out all of his karma with using you, because it's really just going to mess up the whole union. It's going to blow it apart. So they go out and they solve their karma, they close their karma with others so that they can come back to their feminine healed. And so that's what we're seeing, is that as these karmic cycles are closing out and they're moving into their truth, they're becoming more willing to face their truth. And air is also about messages. So to me, I'm getting there, that they're finally going to begin speaking their truth as they've faced it. So third quarter of 2020, I'd like to see what the themes are going into this third quarter. So Spirit, what have we got for the third quarter 2020 for beautiful water signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? Third quarter of 2020, Spirit. Okay. A little slow coming out. Got one. All right. So the first card out here, let me show it to you, is the Moon card. And it's such a beautiful moon. It's so much peace. And this woman is just resting on the crescent here on the bottom of this moon. And she's just, it reminds me a little bit of the Star card. It's such a healing card. I get so much healing. It's about facing fears. And once these masculines come into their truth, they're going to be ready to face their fears. Many of them, it's a fear of commitment, a fear of facing their childhood wounding, a fear of many things. And here we have the Six of Air, which in the traditional tarot would be the Six of Swords. And you see this ship, and it actually is flying through the air. It's not even in the water, but it's interesting. We have so much air going on in this reading for water signs, but this is about moving out of chaos, moving into calmer waters, moving away from the conflict and the unsettled cycles, and really, so it's very synchronistic here. We've got this moon with the Six of Air, Ace of Air, Seven of Air, Six of Air. So this King of Cups, where we started off in the first quarter, who is an emotionally mature man, is really coming into his abundance, facing his truth, facing his fears, and moving into calmer water in these connections. So the fourth quarter of 2020, let's see what our masculines are going to be dealing with. Fourth quarter of 2020, please. Okay, so I got a whole bunch that flipped out. I'm not feeling that, so let's go. All right, so we get the two of fire, which would be equivalent to the Two of Wands in the traditional tarot. And we have this beautiful giraffe with this lovely tapestry and this young woman just sitting there waiting. And the giraffe is holding a lantern, lighting the way. And so in traditional tarot, you would see the Two of Wands with a man holding one wand, and one is leaning against the nearby wall, and he's looking at a globe. It's like, he's making a decision to move forward. So I feel that in the third quarter of 2020, we're going to see these masculines begin to make solid decisions. And here we have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups. So, of course, that's coming into self-love. That's unconditional love. That's divine counterpart love. It's absolutely gorgeous. He's going to make a solid decision. And the way I'm seeing that Ace of Cups is, is toward commitment. He's going to make a decision to come forward once and for all. And I'm not seeing that I think it's going to take until the fourth quarter for him to come forward. I see that that could be happening as early as second quarter of 2020 and really starting to develop in the third quarter of 2020. And by the fourth quarter, you and your masculine energy will probably be ready to fully come into some kind of union. So what I'm going to use next is the In-Between Tarot. I want to kind of look at some bridging energies of what we're going to be looking at as we go through this year, and what are the challenges going to be as we transition from one quarter to the next through this year. So using the In-Between Tarot, it's a very interesting deck. Each of the cards represents what happens in between each phase. So if you think of the tarot deck like the major arcana as a trip, starting with the Fool and ending with the World, then how do we get from one phase to the next? So between the first and the second quarter of 2020, we got the King of Swords, which is so interesting because this is as if you remember, we have this King of Cups here with the Nine of Earth. We have this divine masculine who's moving into his emotional maturity. He's working on his own abundance. He's getting his house in order. And in the second quarter, we see him understanding his truth, taking off his mask, facing his feelings, and that bridging energy is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is about making plans and taking action. And it's interesting because in this deck, being the In-Between Tarot, you have the King of Swords right here on the side, and you have the Page of Swords here. So you see this page here kneeling before the king. It's like it's his development from coming into just, learning and getting an idea about what it is that he really wants and truly understanding who it is that he's meant to be with and where his spiritual path is, where he's meant to go. This King of Swords is going to take him right into that Ace of Swords energy. So beautiful. All right, so let's shuffle it and see from that second quarter to that third quarter of 2020, what is going to be the challenge that this masculine is facing? What is he going to be working on that's going to help him? What is the bridging energy going from understanding truth to taking action, moving forward, facing fears, and beginning to move towards those smoother waters? So, interesting, more swords. Okay, so we have the Six of Swords here, and I think this is one of the most interesting cards in this deck because in traditional tarot, the Six of Swords is, which we have right here in the third quarter, so this is the bridging energy. We actually get Six of Swords taking us to Six of Swords in the moon. So this is pretty cool. So what's bringing him in? The Six of Swords and moving into the Seven of Swords. So Six of Swords is about moving into calmer waters, right? Moving out of the chaos. Seven of Swords is about it's standing your ground. It's he's ready to defend this union, and you see him. He's sneaking by. There's all this chaos. I don't know if you can really see this. There's all this chaos going on the shore, and he's hiding behind a log, and he's creeping through the water. He is trying to avoid all of whatever interference or whatever things have come in between the two of you coming together, third parties, friends, family, whoever it is standing on the bank, you know, with fires burning, ready to take it on, and he's just creeping by. He's like, no, I'm going to stand my ground. This is my person and this is my path. And I'm not going to be in my ego anymore, and I'm not going to worry about what people are saying. This is my path. This is absolutely gorgeous. So this is the energy that's going to take your masculine from understanding to action. All right, so from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, what kind of bridging energies do we have there? What is this masculine going to... Okay, there we are. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, we have the Death card. This is amazing. This is incredible. So with Death, in between tarot, we have the Death card with the Temperance on the side. So this is in between Death and Temperance. So with Death to the ego, Death to old situations that were no longer serving him, this Tower came, this completely burnt everything to the ground. So it's like in some parts of the country, you may be familiar, where people will scorch their grass, and then in the spring it comes up beautiful. It's like they burn it away. They burn away all of the old to make way for new grass. So it's like you see, you know, water, it's like our subconscious, it's like this 3D island here, and there's this scorched spot on the ground, and this phoenix is just rising out of the ashes. So what's going to happen between the third and the fourth quarter? You're going to take off. This union is finally going to get wings. And look at the angel in the background. The clouds are forming the shape of an angel. It's absolutely beautiful. It's healing, it's rebirth, it's coming through the fires, burnt clean from the karma and all of the things that you've carried with you that have kept you two from being together. And that is what's going to be happening between the third and fourth quarter as this masculine makes a final decision to come into his love with his feminine. Oh my God, this is so beautiful, water signs. So now I'm going to take this Sufi Wisdom deck. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to shuffle it one more time. And I'm going to get a card here, the overall energy of this connection for 2020. What are the lessons learned? What does Spirit want us to know? Where should our focus be? I really want to get that overriding energy for this group of water signs, please, Spirit. And please give me a card for these water signs. Oh, my hands are so small. I have the worst time shuffling, and I keep trying different ways of doing it, and yeah, I just have really tiny hands, so I have a hard time. Okay. All right, so we have a couple of cards that came up, and I'm feeling that I should take them all. I said one, I got three, and we're going to take all of them. Oh, never mind, we got four. So how about one for each quarter? Maybe that's what we're supposed to do with this. All right, so while your masculine is working through, this King of Cups is working through his abundance, what you need to do is live in the moment, okay? What you are looking for is with you. You can't lose something you have. If you're a divine counterpart, twin flame, whatever you want to call it, I don't like labels, but if you are in one of these connections, your job, feminine, is to work on yourself and live in this moment. You have not lost your masculine. You are the same soul. You can't lose what you already have. And you need to resonate in that energy. So let's put that here. All right. The next card, I'm saying this goes with the second quarter. I'm winging it here a little bit, but I feel like this is where Spirit's leading us. Make a change. Welcome change into your life. So while he is coming into his understanding in this 7 of air and this Ace of Swords, Ace of Air, and you've got this energy coming in with the King of Swords, you may be hearing from your masculine, and it may be a change. So welcome that into your life and understand, as these masculines come in, they are so wounded. They have been through so much, and many of them aren't going to be fully healed. Many of them are going to need your compassion, and they're going to need your unconditional love. But please, feminines, understand that you, under no circumstances, should compromise your boundaries or accept bullshit offers. But accept them in love and compassion, because these masculines are carrying the karma for these connections, and the feminines are carrying all of the blockage and energies that need to be cleared in the chakras. Okay, so that karma that your masculine is clearing, it's very likely that the two of you created it together in this lifetime or a past lifetime. So understand that when he comes to you, he needs your compassion, but you also need to practice self-love and keep your boundaries up. And it's okay to welcome them in, but understand it's not going to be picking up where you left off. It may take some time. In this reading, we're looking at third, fourth quarter. He's coming to you in the second quarter. It may take weeks or months for you to get back to that place where you can begin a real union, a real reunion. And you may have to work toward that and reestablishing trust and demanding, yeah, I guess, that he treat you, your masculine energy treat you the way that you as a goddamn empress should be treated. But accept him with compassion, okay? Welcoming that change. So in this third quarter, what we're getting is simple pleasures. Look for the beauty that is all around you. So as this starts to develop and he's facing his fears, he's standing his ground, he's wanting to move into calmer water with you, just go with the flow. Look at the beauty. You're being given a gift. And working with your masculine is one of the most beautiful gifts that the universe could give you. And finally, in the fourth quarter, as your masculine is making his decision, going through this temperance into death, rising like a phoenix, unconditional love with this Ace of Cups, we get do not be frustrated, let go and feel peaceful. And so what I'm getting from this card is, don't be frustrated that we're looking at the fourth quarter. Don't be frustrated it's not happening at the speed you want it to happen. Don't be frustrated that it's like, wow, I have to wait a whole nother year. No, that's not what we're saying. Or it's not what I'm getting here. But understand things happen in the time they need to happen. Healing takes a long time. And if you want to land this reunion in the 3D safely, to make it last, be fully grounded and healthy and equal give and take and all the things that make a beautiful union, don't be frustrated by the time it takes. It says let go and feel peaceful. Go with the flow. Allow the process to unfold. Trust the process. Work on yourself. Live in your moment. Accept things as they are. Resonate in the energy of peace, and all of this is going to come together as it should. This is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I guess what I'm going to do, because I didn't really plan for it to go, to do the 4 quarters like that, but that's the way it came to me. So I do want to just pull one more card from this deck as an overriding energy for the connection for the year. And I will clear these cards and do a look at your energy and what other advice Spirit has for you as you navigate this exciting year of 2020. Okay, we did get one card. Wow, this is kind of funny. So the overarching energy for the year for you, feminine, is listen to advice. Guidance is needed to cross the ocean of life. I love this. So guidance, it could be what you're hearing right now. It will come to you. Don't be frustrated. Live in the moment. Don't get so caught up in, why isn't this happening now? I can't believe I have to wait. I'm so sick of this. And, I can't tell anyone what to do. And, you have to make your own decisions and follow your own intuition and your own guides. But for this group that I'm channeling right now, it's coming. It's coming. These masculines are going to come to you, and they're going to need your compassion and your love But it doesn't mean that you have to compromise your own boundaries, because if you accept crumbs, that's what you're going to get. I'll be honest. You have to expect to be treated like an empress if you want to be treated like an empress. And if you are a divine feminine in a divine partnership, then you are the empress. You embody all the queens. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let me clear this really quickly, and then I will do another quick read of the feminine energy. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I pre-shuffled this deck off camera. I will give it a couple more shuffles. We are using the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, and I just want to get a few more cards for the feminine watching. Just some advice going forward in the year, and most important messages you need to know from Spirit. So we'll get a few cards for you before we wrap up. Oops. Okay. Well, we got a few coming out here before we wrap up the read. Okay. So the first card out, commitment. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. So for 2020, for this group that I am channeling of water signs, commitment is coming your way. And then I got Stormfield, but in reverse. So this may be how you've been feeling for 2019. Many of us have been there, going through it. It's coming to an end. Stormfields in reverse. Whoops, sorry, bumping my camera there. Okay, and then we get protecting treasure. Okay, and what I'm getting from this card, it's very similar to, actually I'm gonna go ahead and stand these up. It's very similar to what I was saying earlier about, you see this feminine, she's got an umbrella, she's kind of huddled underneath it. Her crown is laying there because of course she is an empress. She's got this diamond sitting here, and she's just kind of laying over this chest, protecting what's inside. So what I'm getting from this is, like I said earlier in the read, that your job is to take care of yourself, to put your boundaries up. Don't let these masculines take advantage of you. Be a loving partner. Listen to them, have compassion for them and what they've gone through, but also be strong in not accepting crumbs. And the last card is Sad Embrace. And what I'm getting from this is probably where many of you may have been feeling lately. And this is exactly the energy that we're going to be leaving behind, okay? This is not, sorry, you might hear my cat. He just came in right on cue. My little healers over here. So with the Sad Embrace card, you need to release this. You need to release the attachment to being a victim for some of you. You need to release the attachment to old memories, release the attachment to painful memories, and release the attachment to the old connection. Because when this comes back, it's going to come back as a brand new relationship. The old can't stay. You saw the phoenix. It has to be burned away. It's going to be completely new. It's okay to have fond memories and to think about the good times, but don't get stuck in that. Live in the moment, like the card said earlier. Put your boundaries up. Let go of your attachment to sadness. I mean, you guys are water signs, and water signs are emotional people. And I know that's not exactly easy. You know, we have rain in this card, the Sad Embrace. Stormfield's upside down. This is what's coming for you. But in order to get out of this storm, you have got to put your boundaries up and release the attachment to the sadness. essentially. I mean, I've been there, and I think it's important to, when those thoughts come, when you're feeling a certain way and you're having a memory or something comes over you, and it's important to acknowledge, look at it. Yes, I see you there. Acknowledge it, and then release it, and then keep doing what you're doing. Go back to what you were doing. Enjoy your lives. And I'm really feeling that that's super important with these two cards here, back to back with so much sort of this rain. But I love right here this rain. You can see right here rainbows are coming. See, there's the darkness here and the rainbow. You just got to weather that storm. Put your barrier up. You got this little bird. Spirit's got your back. You're protected. You're fully protected. All right, water signs, that is your 2020 read. If you enjoyed this video and resonated with it, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, my information is in my About page. So thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time.